In this video, I will demonstrate how to use the SUMIFS function. We use the SUMIFS function when we have multiple criteria that must be met in order to sum a range. So for example, I want to know how many courses BT is offering through the business department. So my first criteria is going to be to find all of the business department entries, and then my second criteria would be to find any courses that have the label BT. To get started, I'm going to go ahead and click in H4, and then to begin the SUMIFS function, I'm going to go to the Formulas tab. I'm going to click Math and Trig. I'll scroll down to SUMIFS. If you look closely at this dialog box, it tells you sum range. Sum range are the actual cells to sum. So we know I'm wanting to sum the number of courses that are being offered, so I'm going to select this range. Now my first criteria range is going to be, is it in the business department? So I'm going to select the range that might have the word business entered. So that is the criteria. I'm going to go ahead and type business, but I have to type it in quotes. The second criteria is going to be the range that might contain any of the BT classes. So I'm going to select that range, and I'm going to type the quote BT, but since BT classes all have different numbers, I'm going to go ahead and use a wildcard character, the asterisk, to find any results that contain the letters BT. And now I'm going to go ahead and put in another quote and click OK. So it shows that there are 4 BT classes, and you can quickly identify right here, here are the 2 BT sections, and there are 4 classes being offered. So that's correct. Now, if I needed to change this to be how many business classes are being offered, all I have to do now is change this right up here to be business. I leave the asterisk and enter. So now I'm just going to double check my work by going to the entries that have business classes. So here's one, here's one, here's one, and here's one. So that is a sum of 4 classes, so this is correct. Now we'll go ahead and do it for the IT department, which is also listed under business. Here's one that says IT. So we're going to start up here in cell H5, and for this one we'll use the autocomplete technique. So I'm going to go ahead and type equal, and I'll start to type sum, and you can see the SUMIFS pops up right here. So I'm going to double click on it, and remember, if you click right after the parenthesis there, you'll see the information that you're going to need to type in this particular format. So the first thing that it's asking for is what range do you want to sum? So I'm going to go ahead and select the number of courses, and so I'm going to put my comma, and now I'm on the criteria range. So remember, these two things work together here. First I select the criteria range, and then I put in what my criteria is as far as what words are we looking for. So the criteria range is going to be this range right here, and I have to separate that with a comma as well, and now I have to enter my criteria. This must be entered in quotes because it's text, so I'm typing business in quotes, and then I put my comma, and now it's asking for my second criteria range. Remember, these two things will work together, so I'm going to go ahead and now select B4 to B35, and I'll put my comma, and my criteria is going to be IT, and since IT has a couple of different numbers after the designation IT, I have to go ahead and put in an asterisk for my wildcard character, and then put in my quote and end it with a right parenthesis. And here it shows that IT has 9 different courses being offered, and to check that really quick, I'm going to just eye it. Here's one IT course, and here's one, and here's one, And my little auto calculate down here is telling me that 9 is correct, and that is what my SUMIFS picked up. The next SUMIFS that I'm going to do is to look for the language studies department and look for any French classes that might be offered. So I'm going to go ahead and use the autocomplete technique, equal, and then I start to type sum. I'm going to double click SUMIFS. And the first thing that I want to do is select the number of courses. I'm going to go ahead and put in my comma. And as you can see, the next thing is my criteria range and what my criteria is. So my criteria range is going to go ahead and be this area here. And I'm looking for the language studies specifically. So I'm going to do a comma, and in quotes, I'll type language studies, and then comma. And then my second criteria is going to be the French classes. So I'm going to select this range here, and I'm going to go ahead and put my comma, and my criteria is I'm going to type in FR, and then I'll just do my wildcard character. That will find French and any number designation after that, and then I'll end that with a quote. And I'm going to put the right parenthesis on there and press enter. And it found 6 courses that are being offered through the Language Studies Department, specifically offering French classes. And we'll do one more. We're going to be looking for the graphic design classes in the art department. So I'm going to do equal, sum, double click SUMIFS. I have to select my range first. This is the area that I'm going to want to add. And then I put in my comma and criteria 1 and criteria 1 here. So first I select my range, and then I would enter the criteria that must be met within that range. So I'm going to do comma and then quote, and we are looking for the art department. So I'm going to type art in quotes, comma, and my second criteria range is going to be any of the graphic design courses. So I'm going to select that range, and I'm going to put in a comma, and in quotes I'll go to type in graphic like that, and then I'll use my wildcard character and end with a quote and end with the right parenthesis, enter. And that's it. That's how you use the SUMIFS function.